Angela, hits and misses. So good to have you on. What is happening with Australia this week?
It's been a big week, Matt. Now, if you can all imagine Australia as separate countries, so not
Pretty
states,
much.
but separate countries, and in fact, that's how we're actually acting at the moment. The eastern seaboard of Australia, it might have had a king or queen of Queensland, king or queen of New South Wales, etc. We all know that there's
Chairman of Victoria.
dictatorship.
Chairman Dan. Yeah.
Yes, happening in Victoria. So this week what we've seen is anarchy and rebellion because two state governments have had votes of no confidence put up against them. It's important to clarify that both have, that's been lost, so it hasn't gotten up.
That's New South Wales you're talking about. You said
and
Victoria. And Victoria, yeah. I know of ours. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and New South Wales this week. The vote of no confidence in the New South Wales state government upper house was very close. It was 2020. It was only broken by the president.
Wow.
But that was a very loud statement.
Yes.
Now, I want to take you through it state by state. So in Queensland, what we had was, and we always know that Queenslanders, bless them, are a little bit different to the rest of Australia. Their form of rebellion has been just to chuck a couple of tomatoes at ScoMo. Coming from a hospitality background, I would say that surely you can find a better use for your produce, but you got to say what you got to say.
Yeah.
However, so ScoMo's popped in a flyby to, in ahead of the election that's coming up next month or thereabouts for Queensland, thinking that he was up there to really boost the LNP, but I'm sure they've said to him, it's okay, bro, go back where you came from. You can return to your hotspot of Sydney.
Yes.
And, we'll be fine without you. So the Queenslanders have rebelled against I'm not sure what, because they've got their borders shut down. They're living quite apart from the rest of us. They don't really care what's happening around the rest of Australia. I mean, and, really, why should they? But as we've uncovered some data, regional Queensland is not prepared for an outbreak. And if anything did come about, they would find themselves in a much worse situation than what Victorians are in. So that's the serious note of it. So there's a reason why they're hanging on to their border closures. But on the other hand, what's the reality of what we're going through? Now, let's scoot down to New South Wales. I don't know if you've heard, but someone's made a bad boyfriend choice in New South Wales. And
yeah, that's bad. But I can't believe she was potentially going to go and have to resign or whatever, and Dan Andrews doesn't have to. What's going on up there?
Oh, okay. So I see you're drawing that distinction.
Well, Barry Farrell had to resign over wine. He didn't kill anyone.
No, he didn't. And for the moment, we would say that our New South Wales Premier hasn't resorted to that. But it sounded yesterday like she might kill a member of the press because of the kind of questions they kept asking her. So she did get a little bit agitated. Look, it's a very sticky situation here in New South Wales in regards to our Premier and what's been going on. And of course, it's caused a little bit of furor amongst, is she being treated fairly because she's a woman? What's actually at the base of this? Well, at the base of this, or right behind it, if you pull apart all the different levels here, the fact is that there was a relationship being conducted for an extended period of time while she was Premier, and the person that she was in this close personal relationship with, although it apparently wasn't of substance, and I'm sure if you were her boyfriend, that would be like a knife to your heart, right, after 5 years.
Ouch.
But the fact is that she says she had no idea that he was doing things that he shouldn't be doing. And one of those things is getting cash delivered to him through Parliament House.
I heard about bags of cash being taken to his parliamentary office.
Oh. Look, there's a little bit of confusion over whether that was 2 times or 20 times because he can't remember. Seen one bag of cash, seen them all, I would say to you.
Yes.
Now, let's jump down to the border, Victoria, sorry.
We have killed 800 people from hotel quarantine failures, so do tell.
Yes, and you have also put up a vote of no confidence on your Premier. That failed as well with a resounding majority in support of him. Yep. The latest polls in Victoria show you're neck and neck of people hating him and not hating him. So I don't know what it is you guys are doing down there, but there's not enough of you that aren't happy. That seems to be a problem.
Yeah. Look,
I'm
I
not
have
sure.
Gideon Rosner from the IPA coming in here tonight for my other show, and he has put out a poll today. Well, the IPA has put out a poll that only 41% support Dan, whereas you've got News Poll saying 62, 63 a week ago. So I don't know where we're at with the polls.
Well, it all depends on who you ask and how you interpret data, right? So there's, who believes in polls? I mean, they said, Trump wasn't going to win against Hillary last time, and they've got Biden ahead right now. So, I wouldn't be buying any shares in those companies because it's apparent that they don't know what they're doing. The interesting thing with Dan is that he seems to be a little bit Teflon-like, right? No matter what he does, it's just, rolling off him. So it will be interesting to see how in the next couple of weeks, how he's going to deal with some of the tough data that's going to come out. We've got 1 million Australians accessing mental health changes that have come about. The fact that, kids 1 in 5 have really been hurt by these lockdowns. These are going to be long-term impacts that I really believe governments, if they don't step up and understand, history's going to show that they failed their people spectacularly because they had some kind of fear or secret eradication plan that's not working.
No longer a secret here in Victoria. The eradication is out of the bag from Jenny McCarkos, former health minister, and Brett Sutton. But hey, that's one giant miss. I assume you're painting the
one
Eastern
giant
Seaboard
miss.
Right.
Now I've got some good news on the hit this week, and I thought I'd narrow it down and keep it to Victoria as well. And I'm just going to bring up my notes to make sure I get it right. There are some fantastic breweries in Victoria, 2 of note. One called the Bridge Road Brewers and the Beer Deluxe guys, and one is in Beechworth and one is in Albury. Now, these guys got together and made a new beer, a pink beer, and that is to, one, celebrate and make note of Breast Cancer Month in October, but also to raise funds for the Regional Cancer Centre in Albury-Wodonga. So this is some great Victorians getting together, making a brew, making it pink, trying to raise funds for a regional area that is in desperate need of support. I would call on every government in Australia to back some amazing projects that are happening regionally everywhere and take a bit of pressure off people. Now, Matt, this brewery in Beechworth has made a wasabi beer, and they've also made a barbecue chicken beer.
I'm into
and
the
now
chicken.
They're making it.
I wonder what it'd be like to have barbecue chicken beer with barbecue chicken.
I don't want to know. I'm happy to have the pink beer, but there's a lot of science behind it, and there's a great story behind the brewers. A big shout out to them. I'm going to do a write-up about them because I love the idea that it's guys getting together for Breast Cancer Month and really trying to help a regional centre, which obviously really needs, fundraising right now for all charities is really tough. So that's the big hit. Good on you, Victoria and Beechworth and Albury. And for the rest of the Eastern Seaboard, what can I say? Bring back royalty. Let's get rid of democracy.
Amen. Do better. Come on, guys. We don't. Hey, Angela, can you stick around? Because later in the show, I want to interview actually about mainstream media. Our show is taken on a different flavor this week. We've been on the road. So stick around. Let's have a chat later on.